Welcome back to the UX Design Show. I am your host, Emanuel Johnson Jr., and today I want to talk about my opinion on the differences between native and responsive web applications. Let's start with native. I have never been a fan of native apps. If you need to make native apps, that is completely up to you. It really is based on the agenda of the users and what they're trying to achieve. So it's not that all native apps are bad, in my opinion. It's just that I feel as if in majority of the work that I do, with me being a contractor and I work on different projects, I don't come across most people who are going to be working with just that particular operating system. But I do want to talk about in the instances I've seen, and also to the instances where native apps are absolutely the best way to go. For instance, I used to work for Sunbelt Rentals way back in the day, which was like 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And their users in particular were construction guys. They have all of these iOS tablets and phones. They have pretty much dedicated themselves to that particular medium. So that makes sense if you're going to make a native iOS app, because you want to make sure you use as many of those components as possible that are already pre-made, which lessens your development time. It'll help you pass through iOS's ridiculous inspection of your application that takes so long to get it certified so that you can go online. And then 3, I mean, it's just easier on your development team to know that they're just working in one particular language and not having to shoot things across multiple platforms. You just have to worry about the iOS operating system. So that's good. In instances like that, I mean, that's great. There's tons of companies out here who want to just cater to iOS or just want to cater to Android for their applications, whether it be for a specific device, drones, things of that nature. When it comes to different types of devices, they just want to cater to that one operating system. They're only catering to that because maybe they just want to work with, let's say, the Apple Watch. Or they just want to work with the Samsung Gear, the watch that's made for Android by Samsung. So that makes sense that you're catering to a niche, so to speak, right? You're catering to a niche. You're catering to not necessarily a small audience, because it could be huge, but just a niche user base. But when it comes to spreading a company's brand across multiple platforms, web responsive is the best way to go. So the positives, right? The biggest positive is that if you need to make updates, you can completely bypass iOS's inspection of the app, and you can make those updates on the server itself, and then people will automatically get those as soon as they upload it. I mean, you technically don't have to give them an indication that you added something new. You can just re-upload the same application if you want, and then they'll know that, oh yeah, something new is here. The second benefit is that everything stays consistent, because technically you're building one application, and that one application is just being loaded up on a cell phone, and it's just being loaded up on a tablet, and then someone logs onto the internet and they're able to get it there. So you're building one application. Compare that to native, where if you wanted to keep the branding consistent across all platforms, you now need an iOS app, Android app, and you need a web app. It's crazy. It's too much. There's 3 development teams. Maybe the people who do the Android can also do the web app, or better yet, web apps. Basically it's HTML, JavaScript, PHP, Perl, and different types of scripts that people use. So technically, it's just regular, basic old web development that you're using there. So pretty much anybody who's a developer can do those items. They can tag team the web app. But man, to have an iOS development team and an Android development team, and they're working on separate tracks. Also, too, for the UX designer, it's a nightmare, because if you're doing this and they all have to be native, there's always going to be somebody in that group who goes, hey, can you pull from this component and pull from that component and pull from that component from that operating system and put that in our app? So now this becomes a material design Android application and a completely iOS, whatever version they're on, application. That is not good. That is not a consistent look and feel. And then you have to ask yourself, as a UX person who works in this field, who am I really catering to? Are we catering to users, Or are we just trying to put things in the application that look cool because we want them to look and feel like an Android phone? I'm going to tell you right now, there is no research that I've found, and I could be wrong, where users are like, oh my God, how come this app doesn't look like Gmail? The amount of apps that people use on a day-to-day basis, from Cam Scanner to Shazam, people don't care if an application looks like something that comes from their native operating system. Even if they use Android all their life, if you give them some application that tends to be completely unique, they're not going to lose their minds of like, oh, I'm not going to use this. That's crazy. So there's no need to do that. It's so much better to build a web-responsive app. It's better for your development team. It's better for managing any of the technical debt that's going to come from it, because you can then work on those bugs, send out one update, and it updates it for everybody. There's no need to have multiple development teams. And then when you think about the life of the application, it's going to be so much easier to keep it up to date. So in my opinion, those are the differences. And right now, with most of the projects I worked on as a contractor and moving throughout, all of my apps have been web responsive. It's been the first thing that I recommend, based on the simple fact that most of the stuff I work on go across multiple platforms. It's all about keeping their branding consistent and making sure that their users, no matter what they use, Windows, Android, iOS, websites, tablets, whatever the case may be, they want their consistency to be there. They want their branding to be consistent. So you have to pick and choose what you want to do. Be careful of allowing your biases, the things you love, to affect the designs that you create. Be very, very careful of that. That's not what we're here for. We're always here to do our user research and let that guide our design decisions. So that's it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me some comments on Twitter. Leave me some comments below. And if you're new, welcome to the UX Design Show. Make sure you subscribe so you get more content that'll be coming very, very soon. Talk to you guys later. Peace.